I really like the way you've wrapped your hijab in your profile picture.
Jazakallah, brother.
Please don't call me brother.
Oh, sorry, mate.
SingleMuslim.com proudly sponsors Half My Faith, All My Struggle.
Street lights guide me.
Love is being soulmates, really.
In Islam, marriage is a fundamental part of a Muslim's life. It is widely accepted across all schools of thought that getting married is half your faith.
Half your religion if you marry, and that is a huge thing that my parents also believe in.
However, for Muslims, finding a life partner in Britain isn't the easiest of tasks, especially when you are observing the faith while searching.
To find someone that you physically, mentally and emotionally connect with is so difficult.
12 wonderful people have agreed to embark on a unique journey with us, not only to share their experiences and struggles in finding a life partner, but also to learn new things about themselves along the way.
I feel that I'm ready now to share my life with someone. I just hope that it happens one day.
If I was to meet someone else, I'd probably take it very, very slow.
Does marriage being seen as more of a religious duty distort one's judgment in seeking a life partner?
I think you say you're looking for a wife, but I don't think you are looking for a wife.
With divorce always being a risk, could some be about to make the same mistakes again?
Don't look for someone who's like you, look for someone who's going to complement you.
This journey isn't about matchmaking. It's an insight into how 12 British Muslims are dealing with the struggles of trying to complete half their faith. We'd like to think our path to marriage is mapped out from an early age. The glitter, the glam, the strops, the hall, the food, the ring, and every effort is made to meet those expectations. However, even with the most precise planning, things may not pan out the way we hope.
I do attract men who perhaps perceive me as a challenge, I think. I've had a few men made comments such as, oh, you sound very up yourself, or you sound a bit snobby.
Meet Kafeela, a confident, intelligent, elegant, yet feisty young lady, embarking on her second journey to marital stardom.
I've been divorced for about 4 years, but I've only been actively looking for a couple of years. Marriage for me is happiness, commitment, security, an open, honest relationship. My purpose at home, because obviously I live with my dad and I live with my 2 brothers, I guess I'm a housewife and a mother, but not actually a housewife or a mother.
Many women start their married life young and at the start of their working careers. But Kafeela is fully established and peaking in hers.
I'm quite fortunate in that I do have a good job. I went to university and did a 3-year degree. And then after my 3-year degree, I did a master's, and then I did social work training. I guess I'm in a certain place where I want my lifestyle to reflect, I guess, where I am in terms of my career. I've always had good taste, quite refined taste. I blame my mother for that. And I do enjoy spending money on nice clothes, nice bags. I am a bit of a spender. But at the same time, I'm quite sensible as well. I only spend what I have.
Kafeela is very particular on what she requires in a prospective husband and will settle for nothing less.
I know exactly what I'm looking for. Confident, good values, educated, dresses the part. I'm looking for a grounded person as well. Islamic values. He doesn't have to pray. A good sense of humour, family-oriented, respectful, substance, worldly, taller than me. Do you think that's too much to ask?
It is important that Kafeela finds somebody that will intellectually stimulate her. Otherwise, they will be regarded as an epic fail.
There are certain, I guess, traits and values that are, for me, are non-negotiable. A man who's quite educated. I like intelligent conversations, And I find that quite stimulating, you know, I need a man who does intellectually stimulate me. I find people who have been through the education process, a lot of them have quite good etiquette.
With her Western outlook and liberal ideals, 38-year-old Kafeela is in danger of sending out the wrong signals. She runs the risk of being misunderstood.
I'm looking for someone who does have the Islamic values in terms of how you should treat people. A man doesn't have to be someone who prays 5 times a day.
So you wouldn't mind if you never prayed or didn't really drank alcohol? And
No, there's certain things that I'm not flexible on. I don't drink, I have a halal diet, but I don't pray 5 times a day.
It's interesting that you say that you want somebody with the Islamic values. So I'm wondering if you really want that, you see, a practicing Muslim.
Traditional family values are extremely important to Kafeela, and she is looking for someone from a British Pakistani background. However, she has no means of access due to the majority of her friends being white British.
I guess the challenge for me is that, firstly, I don't know many Pakistani people.
Okay.
And I think that's my sort of social circle, my work circle. I'm at the stage in my life where I'm probably putting a little bit pressure on myself as well to maybe speed the process. I have a few friends. I don't have a lot of friends. I have a mixed bag of friends, so to speak. Yes. I only have 2 Muslim friends.
If you don't find anybody, what would you do?
Recently, I have been thinking carefully about this, and the way I look at it is that I'd love to meet somebody, I'd love to have a companion, I'd love to have children, but some things are not meant to happen. I would have to resign to the fact that I'd have to stay single. I'd rather do that than marry somebody who was not for me, really.
Marriage is a union between 2 people in love who become close over time and share everything with each other. Sometimes these break down, and soon enough, this person has to start the task of finding a life partner all over again. Meet Faisal, a 37-year-old medical project manager from Leicester.
I like Leicester because it has lots of scenery. That's about it, really.
Who is very regimented and organised in all facets of his life.
I was born in Leicester. I have a son who's 5 years old, and I work for the NHS. I work as a manager. I love my job. I work quite long hours. Well, I think it's more of a personal choice. I choose to go to the gym 3 to 5 times a week, go to kickboxing class, yoga class. I've just started doing indoor wall climbing classes. As well as that, I'm also learning Spanish and French, and also trying to learn about my religion in more depth.
Will he be willing to let somebody else alter his routine to accommodate them?
So I want to complete half of my deen. I want to share, the rest of my life with somebody. I want to see the rest of the world that I haven't seen with my partner. I'd like to have more children. I'd like to grow old with somebody and share memories with somebody.
Being a workaholic and a keen traveller, Faisal requires someone to balance his adventurous and domestic sides.
My ideal partner would be somebody who's loving and caring, attractive on the inside as well as on the outside, somebody who likes to travel. I'd like my partner to be practicing because I practice. Maybe not as much as I should, but I do practice a lot, and I would love for my partner to be kind of in the same vein as myself. There are holes in my knowledge, in my religion, and I would love to fill those holes and learn more about my faith and do that with my partner.
With so many requirements in a partner, Faisal fears that he may be past his sell-by date.
I've had previous relationships. I was married before. Obviously now I'm single, so I'm divorced. I didn't, see myself, getting divorced. I don't think anybody does. You just kind of think you're married and you will stick with each other through thick and thin. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. I'm a lot older now, and The way I look at life is, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. But at the same time, I know it's not just going to fall into my lap. I have to make some sort of concerted efforts to find somebody. And I know working as much as I do and kind of having the lifestyle I do, it's not always easy to go out and meet people. But I'm hoping, that things will, move forward.
As a father, it's extremely important to Faisal that his future wife is willing to accept his son.
My son, he's 5 years old. He's the best thing in my life. I only see him a few times a month, but the time that I do spend with him, I try to make it as fun and as educational and as a loving experience for him as I can.
Faisal insists that his future partner be compatible.
So first of all, why do you think that it has to be a 100% match?
So it's not the be all and end all. It's just stuff that I occupy my time with because I have nobody.
Will he find someone who will be accepting of his very British lifestyle?
People may see my profile as me being either overly westernized or for want of an expression, a coconut. So maybe I'm putting off a certain sector of these Asian women. But this is who I am, and this is the kind of lifestyle that I lead, and I can only be open and honest about that.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Hey, do you pray?
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
What about Game of Thrones? Do you watch that?
No way, I've just finished season 4.
Find your perfect partner. SingleMuslim.com proudly sponsors Half My Faith, All My Struggle.
Hey, have you been to Hajj or Umrah?
Yeah, I did Umrah a few years ago.
It's something I really
want to do when you get married, right?
Yeah, inshallah.
Find your perfect partner. SingleMuslim.com proudly sponsors Half My Faith, All My Struggle.
With no means of accessing anybody from the Pakistani community, Kafeela is limited in her prospects. For some time now, she has been marketing herself on several Muslim matrimonial sites.
Certainly, they've had other complications or issues in their life that commit to marriage.
Meet Adeem, founder of a popular Muslim matrimonial website. He has arranged to meet Kafeela to find out what problems she has been facing and why someone with such an appeal is still unmarried.
If somebody's looking for yourself, what kind of, what do you project out?
To be honest, I guess the challenge for me is that, firstly, I don't know many Pakistani people.
Okay.
And I think that's my sort of social circle, my work circle.
What does your online profile look like? So if somebody's looking for yourself, what kind of, what do you project out?
I think my profile reflects exactly me.
Okay.
I think it's very concise, very factual. It stipulates exactly what I'm about and what I'm looking for. It's got 5 photographs, the varied photographs, which give a good idea, a good broader idea of how I look like physically.
You're having problems, you're attracting the wrong type of people and you're attracting not so very nice people, is that?
I guess, yeah, I've attracted more unsavoury characters than more appropriate people.
Do you think that you're giving off the wrong impression on your profile? What I've found previously, whether it be guys or girls who are saying that they're finding or they're meeting a lot of, as you call it, unsavoury characters.
I've not actually met a lot of these unsavoury characters. I just want to, clarify that.
Yeah, no, even when
I've attracted in terms of messages.
With all due respect, in my opinion, though, I think a lot of the times that the wrong message is being given out, and that's why you're attracting what the message that you're giving out. So if you're giving a certain vibe out, you're going to be attracting that criteria of a person. I would really like to have a look at your profile further to see what kind of message you're giving out. Study the photographs. What message does that photograph? Does that photograph give off a message that says, "Hi, I'm fun party girl, and I'm up for a bit of a, let's have some fun and let's have a song and dance," or does it give across I'm sensible, or does it give across I'm professional, or does it give across an impression that I'm family orientated?
I've had people, very honourable, decent gentleman compliment my profile actually and said that it's very well written.
Can we have a look at your profile?
Of course you can.
Adeem is keen to take a personal look at one of her online profiles to see what all the fuss is about.
She's looking for somebody who's good looking, she's looking for somebody who's really well groomed and has a good appearance. She sounds very, very, very picky as well. She's looking for a kind of a James Bond look-alike or a James Bond model. She's looking for somebody of a certain height. She will not kind of, that's a requirement that she will not give away on. She's looking for someone of a certain type of appearance, characteristics, and somebody from Pakistani origin as well, which I think again is very, very important to a lot of people in terms of the country of origin, because it fits in with their family as well.
The profile reveals reasons why she may be attracting the wrong kind of men.
Again, the profile's not very Islamic, and I think meeting her, she said she's looking for somebody Islamic. She's very, very homely. She's looking for somebody who's going to be a lifelong partner, an eternal partner. But again, it sadly doesn't come across like that. But photographs are not very clear, and I think, you know, some of them are taken in the dark, or she's got glasses on and she's kind of hiding behind, and they're very, very pixelated, and this one, again, it's very, very dark. There's nothing that's very clear and kind of shows what she really looks like or what she would look like in person. With the help from the techies here, I've had a look at what her communications are like. It kind of gives her personal contact details very, very quickly, and then she can get rejected and she'll get really upset very, very easily as well. And I think she just needs to remain on the platform a little bit more. She needs to remain on the website within the safe, secure environment on the website a little bit longer, because giving your personal details out within the first or second messages is a big no-no. And I wouldn't really, even if the perfect person was there, I wouldn't suggest doing that. And just do a little bit more background checks, a bit more due diligence of the type of person that she's communicating with. Maybe get some family involvement as well while she's on the website, and take it from there. Kafeela puts a real importance on appearance, but after getting to know her a little bit, you realise that she's a very, very homely person as well.
I think that when I have questioned Islam when I was younger, and there are things that I question today, but not enough to kind of throw me away from the religion, it's just things like having a scientific, definitive answer to something that I'm not sure about. For example, why don't we eat pork? What's the exact reason why we don't eat it? Not just a wishy-washy answer that because a pig has a particular kind of foot, or because they eat, what they eat. I want to get specific examples, and the answers have always come from the Quran, and from people giving me particular quotes or verses from the Quran, and when I've gone to find them, they've been there. Well, I think before any kind of private education, I was going to mosque, and in my family life, my parents are very traditional, they're very religious, and I've seen them fast in Ramadan, and I've seen a very cohesive, peaceful environment, and I've never known anything different. I've always believed in one God, and all of the things that Islam teaches us, it's never been an issue.
Faisal leads a very active life, and culturally he is more British than Gujarati Indian. However, he's very passionate about his religion and has come to speak to marriage guidance counsellor Naseem to discuss spiritual compatibility.
What degree of practice would you want, or how important is Islam to you?
Well, I would say that I'm not the perfect Muslim. I do pray 5 times a day. I do read as well every day, but there are also gaps in my knowledge. But I would like to grow with somebody and develop my knowledge together with them. More so because I want to prepare myself for the life after this, and I think with the help of a partner that would help motivate me as well.
So would it be important, for example, that she's hijab wearing, or does that not really matter? Or
I think compatibility and compromise and being able to communicate with each other at a strong level is more important to me than what they wear.
So if they're just called Muslim names, is that sufficient Islam for you? Is that enough?
I would like to know more about their background in terms of how they practice.
But what if that's their practice, that they're just called Aisha and that's it?
We could discuss whether they wanted to kind of educate themselves any more about the religion. If they did, great. If they didn't, then discuss that as well.
So it's not that really important to you, is that what you're saying, that she's really practicing Islam that much?
It is important to me. Ideally, I'd like somebody who is practicing, but if she wasn't, then I would like to discuss why.
What if she feels it's her own personal thing and she'll practice when she wants? how she wants, and she doesn't really want to have. Religion is a very personal thing, and she doesn't really want to discuss it with you.
Yeah.
She doesn't really want to go down the route of being part of a Muslim is great because she's Muslim and her family is Muslim, and it'd be nice to marry a Muslim. But how much he practices, she doesn't really care if you pray, but she's not going to pray. Or she doesn't mind if you fast, but she doesn't fast.
Yeah.
She doesn't mind if you think that Islam is important and God is important, and how you live your life according to Islam is important to you, but it's not really important to her. Would that be okay?
As I mentioned, I think I would need to find out why they have that opinion.
Okay.
I think there's reasons behind everything, and I would like to discuss why she would have that opinion, and I would try to establish that fairly early on in the relationship before I would commit to any kind of emotional ties to that person.
And it's interesting to hear that from you. Quite like that you are willing to discuss and not sort of force your opinions on people, because some people would do that.
Faisal appears to be very open and honest. He gets straight to the point and is very clear in his answers. Naseem wonders if this comes across too serious.
So you come across as quite a serious person. Would you say you have a sense of humour, or how would somebody feel that you are quite not just really, really deadly serious, but you do actually have a very fun side to you as well?
My friends and my co-workers would say that I'm the joker of the pack. I do have quite a dry sense of humour, right. and I don't tend to take things very seriously. Right. So I try to make light of most situations, pretty much most of the time, if I'm honest.
Okay, so maybe it's just because this interview situation is kind of making you feel a bit nervous.
A little bit, possibly.
Yes. You travel as well, I believe, is that right?
Yes, I do travel. I like to travel. Hopefully in a couple of months I'll be travelling to Thailand.
Then how would you feel if your wife had done some travelling in the past? I mean, before she married you?
I would love that, because then we can compare notes.
Faisal seems like he has everything already planned out in all areas of his life.
Are you kind of a rough and ready backpacking kind of traveller, or do you do hotels? Or
I'm more of a Bear Grylls type of guy, to be honest with you. More rough and ready. Yeah. If there's no hot water, or
you're all right with that?
I'm okay with that.
What if she wanted just a hotel, would be really great.
We could come to a compromise. Maybe 5 days, in camping and 2 nights in a hotel or something.
Yeah, this is compromise. Interesting. Not half.
No.
No. So you're willing to at least discuss compromise?
Yes.
Doesn't sound very compromising 2 and 5, but you discuss that.
Of course, yeah.
Yes.
Faisal may be a Bear Grylls type of guy, but that isn't the type of adventure every woman might be looking for.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Hey, do you pray?
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
What about Game of Thrones? Do you watch that?
No way, I've just finished season 4.
Find your perfect partner. SingleMuslim.com proudly sponsors Half My Faith, All My Struggle.
Hey, have you been to Hajj or Umrah?
Yeah, I did Umrah a few years ago.
It's something I really
want to do when you get married, right?
Yeah, inshallah.
Find your perfect partner. SingleMuslim.com proudly sponsors Half My Faith, All My Struggle.
Kafeela has met Adeem to get some help with marital marketing strategies. Is Kafeela ready to take on some much-needed advice from Adeem?
I think from what I've seen on your profile, you say, I'm not looking for relationships. I'm not looking for people that are, that are messing around and so on and so forth. And for you to say, no, or I'm not looking for that, and I'm not like that, and I'm not like this, and I'm not like this, I think that does say that you're almost saying the opposite. You say, look, I'm looking for a serious person, marriage only. You don't, if you're not interested in people messing around, then don't even mention those words on your profile.
Kafeela is more interested in psychoanalyzing the men on the matrimonial sites.
They perceive me as a challenge, and I'm not sure what they're thinking. But then I do attract some nice guys as well. But over time, over conversation, I find that these nice guys, to be honest, most of them that I've come across, very educated, articulate men, have actually got issues, unresolved issues, trust issues, they're insecure. So that's where I'm at, really.
You know yourself, I think deep down, you know yourself that people look at you and see you as something a little bit different. And I think your profile says that as well. So I'm not being offensive when I say that. Don't be surprised, but I do this, and don't be surprised, but I do that. So you know, do you know what I mean? What you're saying then is that I look like this, but I'm actually this. Yeah. So when you look like this, but you're actually this, then why are you surprised when you're getting responses to this and not responses to this?
Kafeela is blaming the websites for her lack of success.
I think definitely the profiles need to be scrutinised a lot more closer.
A lot of people do say to me that, you know, the website's got weirdos on there, or there's people on there that are like this, and the people like that are like that. My kind of response to that is the website has got human beings on there that are from planet Earth. You know, people don't come from Mars just to register on the website. They're the people that you walk past on a daily basis. They're the people that you go to the masjid with.
My profile has probably changed a dozen times since I've been registered. I've tweaked it, I've improved on it, I've tried various approaches, and to be honest, it still doesn't seem to have worked. And when you're saying about, I've said, you know, you had made a comment about relationships. What I've actually stipulated on there is relationships, yes, but with the view to marriage. And I think sometimes, unfortunately, I think there's some people on that website who are actually rather dim. Unless they see it in black and white, they're not able to think outside the box.
Absolutely. And
And
I think
with
by
all
you saying
due respect,
I'm looking for a relationship leading to marriage.
with the view to marriage, yes.
What that means is that there's only one relationship that then leads to marriage, and that we all know that to be dating. And as Muslims, we don't believe in dating, and it's not you know, we don't even go there. I'm looking for marriage.
I've tried that as well.
No, because
the situation's getting heated again.
That's what you want to be very, 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 very careful of.
Are her demands just too much for most men? Faisal enjoys a very routine life. Faisal claims to have had limited success online, so Adeem has agreed to take a look at his profile.
Faisal's got a very sparse profile. He's got about 7 words in terms of his descriptive about him. And he's got about 70 words about the person that he's looking for, which is never a good sign. You've got more to say about the type of person you're looking for rather than who you are yourself. But the interesting with Faisal's profile is that it probably says more about him in his photographs than in his profile. A picture says 1,000 words, and it certainly does that in Faisal's case. There's photographs of him dressed smart in a suit and tie. There's photographs of him kind of in his gym gear. There's photographs of him cycling. To have photographs that describe what your passions and your interests are, whether that be family, whether that be friends, whether that be the great outdoors, or even if you kind of like staying inside or you like reading, maybe have some photographs with your in a library or a book, or you know, if you like gaming, maybe on a game console. And it really does add so much more to the profile as well. What I'd advise Faisal to do is put some more descriptive words and add a bit more personality to his profile. So maybe, you know, he really needs to talk about what he's into, what he likes, what he's looking for, what his expectations are, I guess, when he's married, how he perceives himself, or what I'd also recommend is like less generic in terms of what he's looking for. It's always nice to say, you know, somebody who's funny, who's pious, who's kind of a good listener. They're all kind of key generic buzzwords that you see on everybody's profile.
He has been searching for a long time. He opens up about his previous marriage.
I didn't, you know, see myself, you know, getting divorced. I don't think anybody does. You just kind of think you're married and you will stick, you know, you will stick with each other through thick and thin. When the time did come to end the marriage, it felt like it was the right thing to do. I did look back and I still look back and I think to myself, where could I improve? So I can learn from that experience. I think having been married, it has definitely changed my perception of choosing another partner. It's made me a lot more cautious, a lot more careful. I'm a lot more patient in terms of not just jumping in at the first opportunity. I'm a lot more, you know, I'm a lot more wary, you know, these days. If I'm honest, and I do a lot more questioning. I take my time, because obviously there has been hurt in the past, and you don't want to emulate what's gone on. I'd like to get married again now to fulfil part of my deen. I'd like to travel, but not travel alone. To travel with somebody. I'd like to have more children. One day. I'd like to share my memories with somebody.
If you meet someone who's quite switched on, they could read into that and think you're quite controlling. What do you think?
I'm sure they could. I'm sure they could think that I'm controlling. I'm controlling in my life in terms of sticking within the Islamic boundaries. I think to an extent I have control over myself more than anything else. My son, obviously, I have an element of control of him because I have to, because I'm his role model right now. And so, yes, I agree with you. I have a controlling side to me, but that's to keep me having a clean and healthy and Islamic life. I think having more children is important to me, but it's not the main reason why I'd like to get married. If it's in my destiny to have more children, then so be it. If I don't have any, then that's fine as well. That it's just an ideal situation for me, and it would be nice for my son to have somebody that he can call his brother or sister that he can play with. My day-to-day routine is, so I leave for work about 7:45. I make a breakfast shake, as you saw earlier, and I have that at work, and then I work until about 5 o'clock, and then I carry on with the second job that I have, but it's based at in the building that I have my first job, which is quite convenient. So I stay there till 8 o'clock, and then after that I go to the gym, and then I come home and then I cook dinner. I check my emails, I try to learn a bit of Spanish, and then I get ready for bed and go to bed. That's generally four days of the week, and then if it's a week where I don't have my son, then there'll be other classes involved like yoga, kickboxing, indoor climbing. If it's the following week, then there'll be 4 days where I have my son. So I just go to the gym and classes for the first part of the week.
Is there anyone out there to fit into this very orderly and organised lifestyle? Or does it need to be disrupted?
I am in talks with one particular lady. She's based in Manchester, actually. So I've spoken to her quite a lot. We've spoken a few times on the phone. We've met a couple of times, and that seems to be going quite well so far, alhamdulillah.
What is it that you think about her and obviously yourself that you feel is compatible?
I think what's compatible about myself and this young lady is that she's intelligent, she's God-fearing, she prays, and she's a thinker, and she's has a lot of similarities to myself, such as travelling, and she wants more children, and family is very important to her. Yeah, so she's an avid kind of gym goer, and she goes running as well, and she wants to do more kind of classes and things like that, and I'm kind of doing them anyway. So we have that in common. She wants to travel and do a lot more travelling, and the places she wants to go to are similar to mine. So so we have that in common. We kind of have differences in. I'm quite a bad ironer, and she's really good at ironing, so that might work quite well. If it works out, and I'm quite good at cleaning other things, and she's not. So it might work out, quite well in that respect. She was married previously, but during her marriage, she did mention that she was quite happy to do the cooking and cleaning, and she left her professional job to to make her husband happy, even though he hadn't required it. But she felt that is how the dynamics of their marriage would unfold, and so she has, and it worked quite well for them actually, from what she says.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Hey, do you pray?
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
What about Game of Thrones? Do you watch that?
No way, I've just finished season 4.
Find your perfect partner. SingleMuslim.com proudly sponsors Half My Faith or My Struggle.
Would you like to live with family after marriage?
No, not really.
All right.
That's partly why I want to get married, so I can move out.
SingleMuslim.com proudly sponsors Half My Faith, All My Struggle.
Kafeela is well educated and from a very close-knit family with strong values.
Oh God, you do not even want to know about Paris. My shopping got stolen. I got some really nice tops from Simo Dutti, a couple of tops, and gave them to my auntie to hold while I signed it to the ladies. And when I came back, I asked my aunt where my bag was, and she didn't have a clue. She actually must have either dropped the bag somewhere or it got pinched from right under her nose. So I wasn't impressed. Luckily, I did have travel insurance, so that's going through, so hopefully I'll get my money back. But yeah, it was lovely. Nice family time with my brother, time with my auntie. Went to a concert, and yeah, we were there about three days. So yeah, it was nice. I know my family, although they're very modern, quite grounded, but they would frown upon a non-Pakistani, to be honest with you. It's quite easy to say, oh no, it's the Muslims, but I've been there, done that. I've lived with a man who was a Muslim, but not Pakistani, and it's quite difficult. It is difficult, and I just don't want to do that again. There is the risk that I could be on my own. But to be honest, at the moment, and I think more recently, it's not really such a scary thought, because I feel that I'm quite blessed in other ways. It's nice if I do meet someone, and yes, I will be disappointed, but I think I'll live. I absolutely adore children, and I do think I'm really motherly. I always have been. And yes, sometimes I think, you know, it'd be nice to have my own children. But I guess I'm in a position where I have got children around me. I've got beautiful nephews.
But you're only your own.
And they're not my own. People keep saying, oh, but they're not your own. But I don't know what it's like to have your own. But what I do know is what I do have, I absolutely love them unconditionally. To have a companion, I guess, trumps having children at this point in time, if that makes sense.
Many people may misunderstand Kafeela's confidence and strong exterior. She also has a very soft side.
I'm very serious about marriage, and I think people who know me or who make the effort to get to know me will know that. But also I'm really mindful that people who don't know me do get the impression that I'm quite content, you know, don't really need a man. I guess, yeah, a lot of people want to be loved and want to give that love. Perhaps I feel that I have been given that love. Maybe I've been given too much that I feel I don't need more. My divorce was in 2010, actually just a few months before my mum got diagnosed. It was very difficult, but it distracted me from the divorce, the difficult marriage. It's going to be 3 years next year since my mum's gone. And I guess grief, it's like a piece of string, you know, it can last forever. We had a very close relationship. She knew everything about me, more or less, and vice versa. And to this day, she means everything to me, to this day. She did want me to get married again. Just before she passed away, when she knew she was quite unwell, she actually said something that still sticks with me to this day. She said, from all my children, I worry about you the most. And she said, that's because you've actually got the kindest and biggest heart, and don't let any man ever take advantage of you. She said, that's why I worry about you the most. Which Yeah, at the time it didn't I guess mean anything for me, but I know what she means. And actually, I think I'm probably more vulnerable in that sense because I've got a bigger void in my life. So, you know, I guess there's the risk that I could, you know, if a guy shows me like lots and lots of affection, there could be the potential risk that I could, you know, commit to someone who, for the wrong reasons.
Kafeela is very oriented. She's very family orientated. Everything help, and she always there to help, friend and family. I think, if I'm right, I think you have to be quite a good looking, quite tall, because she's quite tall, and somebody who God believe, but also give us some freedom to think for herself, because she still want to go out to work. She still want to be a family wife, but still do things. I want to say she is very committed. So, but I think it's got to be both way. So, got intelligent conversation, that they got to spend time together.
Kafeela has come to meet relationship and marriage counsellor Naseem to dig a little deeper into what she wants spiritually out of marriage.
I want a man who's quite educated, I guess.
Is that because?
That's because I like intelligent conversations and I find that quite stimulating. You know, I need a man who does intellectually stimulate me as well. Somebody who is quite normal, I guess, as well, who likes to do normal things as well. I'm looking for a guy who's family oriented, who's respectful, a man with good values. Someone who's got a good balance really.
Are those demands still a little too high?
But in terms of values, I'm looking for someone who does have very good values, humane values.
Explain to me what you mean by humane values, really.
A person who has respect, a person, I guess, who has the Islamic values in terms of how you should treat people, in terms of honesty, in terms of respect. So for me, a man doesn't have to be someone who prays 5 times a day, a man who, you know, goes to the mosque daily.
Does Kafeela have her own interpretation of what it means to be a practicing Muslim?
Things like, you know, some of the compulsory pillars of Islam.
So you wouldn't mind if you never prayed or didn't really drank alcohol and...
No, there's certain things that I'm not flexible on. I don't drink, I have a halal diet, but I don't pray 5 times a day.
It's interesting that you say that you want somebody with the Islamic values. So I'm wondering if you really want that, you see, a practicing Muslim.
There appears to be some confusion on exactly what she wants in a future partner. Should he be Muslim in practice or simply Muslim by name?
Would you mind if he did pray 5 times a day and went to the mosque?
No, if he had a good balance, I wouldn't mind.
Is Kafeela creating barriers for herself?
What I'm understanding from you is that you want somebody who's a Muslim and doesn't drink or eat, you know, eats halal, but doesn't necessarily have to pray. So can you see, I mean, maybe you're not trying to do this, but it feels like you're cherry picking.
He doesn't necessarily have to, but if he does, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
And if he does, then good for him.
Cherry picking good and bad points isn't an option if she believes her time to search is running out.
I'd love to meet somebody. Yeah. I'd love to have a companion. I'd love to have children, but some things are not meant to happen. I have, I think, recently, I have been thinking carefully about this, but I would have to resign to the fact that I'd have to stay single.
Okay.
I'd rather do that than marry somebody who was not for me, really.
It may be important for her to seek help from family in choosing a marriage partner, but will she let them help her?
Traditionally,
I think
it was families who would really go for, I mean, I've known a few people in the past.
I think they do.
And they worked really hard to get the daughters remarried.
I think they do.
So why aren't they doing something about it if they do?
Because, like I said, I think they've just not got the time.
You have to make time though, don't you?
I know, that's a conversation you'd have with them, really.
I would like to have this conversation with them because I think it's really important that...
Are you naturally more drawn to non-Muslims?
I think generally I am, mainly because my schooling and education was in a private school.
You maybe need to lower that barrier a little bit to begin with.
I'll just not talk. I'll just not talk, I think.
Would you like to live with family after marriage?
No, not really.
All right.
That's partly why I want to get married, so I can move out.
SingleMuslim.com proudly sponsors Half My Faith, All My Struggle.